Happy to. Thank you. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for your love, for your mercy. We want to thank you for the opportunities that you give us, dear God, to change, to do, dear Lord, to create. Dear Lord, we ask, dear Lord, that you guide us, that you give us wisdom. Dear Lord, that what we do, dear God, bring you glory and honor, and also that it be beneficial for the children and the families that we serve. We ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Let's see. We're going to start out with a construction update from Tony.
Hello again. We've got some new members since I was here last. Tony Calloway. Been working with us on this project for 4 years. You think I did it right by now, anyway.
So Tony.
Yeah. I'm slow, but I get this, Actually, I love to see the steel coming up. I mean, that's really when things start getting exciting. Obviously, we've been working a lot on the site to get everything ready. The school starting and so on. And actually, Lloyd Osborne with Novel is also here tonight, the contractor, so he's going to report related to construction. And basically, I try to come every 2 or 3 months just to kind of update everybody on where we are. And actually, things are going well. We have, one of the things, as I said last time, Mike had made it really clear that our budget is our $12 million budget, and that's what we need to stay on, and that's what we will stay through. And so as we run into different things like, water line is only 6 inches deep once we did the cut, so now we've got a water, so we've got an issue there. There's some paving that we needed to improve, and so there's a cost there, but we're finding things to offset that. And I have to tell you, and Lloyd with Novel, there's some contractors who always find problems. These guys are great at finding solutions, and they've been a great team with us. And that's really been the process all the way back to when we were pricing it, going through the bond exercises and that kind of stuff. And they've been phenomenal to work with as we've run into various issues and getting their subs to be a little more creative over here. We talk about various changes that we need to do to save some dollars or whatever. And so going through this whole process, we've had some ads, but then we've offset those. So we're still sitting with somewhere around $140,000, $150,000 in our contingency. So we're holding good. Again, there's been some deducts and some ads, but that's generally where we are. We communicate with Mike and Taylor on everything that we do, obviously. But everything's going well. And we've talked about having out maybe a little popping out party. Whenever, they do that with steel, especially major construction, that would be great for all of us, but the students especially. We put a Christmas tree up there and do kind of a little special type event. And Lloyd pays for everything, so you don't have to worry about the cost, it'll never show up. But overall, things have gone very well, but challenging because we have run into a number of items that we've hit, but each time we work through our contractors, Mike Taylor, and we've addressed them and resolved it. And so we're really, going strong after that budget. We're still stronger than we did. And I'm going to ask Lloyd to just talk to you about what you're going to see over the next 30 days or so, kind of where we are related to the construction standpoint. But like I said, he's been a tremendous team player with us, and that's been really special. So I appreciate that.
Hey, Tony, point you out, your new members is Pastor Manuel.
Well, Pastor, how are you?
Laura,
You too.
Manuel Laura. And then over there is Grace Drew is the new chair rep from the PAC. So everybody knows Tony because he's been coming for 13 years to this thing. So, but I wanted to make sure you knew that they just full.
I was 40 when I started.
And the problem with Tony is he's a singer, and the other problem is
Sure.
Lloyd is an actor.
I appreciate the introduction by Tony. To underscore that the relationship that we've had working with the team has been both ways. Callaway's been awesome, facilitating us and helping us look good out here. The project has gone well. I mean, with any project like this, you've got some things that pop up unexpectedly, and like I think Tony mentioned, shallow water lines, this, that, and the other. There's been things that have come up, but we've been able to respond quickly and take care of things as they come up. So we've had a good collaboration with design team, with you guys, with your team, and also you got a good group of subcontractors out there. What you're going to see, as you see right now, you've got steel going up here in pretty short order. You're going to see the main walls of the shelter go up. If you look out there on the slab right now, there are forms that are going down and doors that are laying on their sides right now. Here by the end of the week, we'll be doing some concrete pours, and then that'll form those walls, and we'll plug it in around the 26th, 27th of this month. You'll see these giant walls go up, and that will form your shelter, and it'll change the landscape a little bit out there. And what's going to be nice is once we get that box in there, that steel will quickly catch up to it, and then you'll start seeing the envelope of the building, the outside, inside, and stuff like that start going up here early October, first second week of October. So schedule-wise, we're cruising. Any of you guys who are doing the rain dance, please stop. And contractors love dry, arid weather. But anyway, we're progressing well. I don't know if you guys have any specific questions, but
I think one question was asked before was how many children can be accommodated in that storm shelter?
that's a
Can you
Tony question.
Yeah,
explain the shelter just a little bit too?
Yeah. In fact, I was just thinking that I might do that with a new board member.
We do have a storm shelter that will hold actually over 1,000 students. We checked last night. And so basically, pretty much all the students and the people you have here on campus will be able to, and basically the new code requires that we have a storm shelter for school project. And so we actually have a building within a building. So what he was talking about with these panels, the concrete panels that will be going up that form the storm shelter on the inside. So it's not just your normal brick and metal studs and things of that nature. It is a concrete shelter, and it basically goes on both the first floor and the second floor. We use the classroom space. It still has classroom space. It has laboratories, things of that nature. In fact, it's required to have laboratories in case the building collapses down around it. Then they've got to be able to get access to laboratories and so on. So, if you want to take a chance to take a look at the plans, it's pretty interesting the way that it's done. And initially, we were going to build that first, but because of the different things that we ran into, again, this is how flexible these guys have been. They've been able to swap the process, still keep us on schedule to go to the steel, and then we'll do the shelter before we were looking at doing the shelter. But as upstairs and down, it's, I can't remember exactly, but it's over 1,000 students or 1,000 people individually that we can hold.
That's great. So this shelter has 9-inch thick concrete walls, so it's literally a bunker. The doors that come in and out of the shelter, even though they're coming out of the hallways of the school, main school, those doors are extra heavy-duty frames that get poured and cast into that 9-inch concrete stud so that the frames won't come out of the walls. And then the doors that go in those frames are, think of like bank vault doors. It's going to take, they're not your average doors. So, like Tony said, it's a building within a building. So you've got a concrete floor slab that you're going to be walking on. You've got a concrete slab between the two floors, but you also have a concrete deck on top of that. So you're encapsulated in this concrete box for those, in the event of emergency.
And it's obviously designed with mechanical systems and those kinds of things. I mean, and quite frankly, it's one of the first ones I'm aware of that's being built for the credit. So we'll probably get a lot of people coming over, knocking on your doors, saying they want to see what might be done.
Yeah, you should see the exorbitant amount of coordination. It's one thing for these guys to draw it, but then for us to really fully download it and convey that to the trades. And then, you start getting real granular details. It's like, how do we attach this nut to that bolt? So there's some of those challenges that we've had to work through, but it's been a pretty fluid process so far.
And then, am I right, isn't it about $1 million extra for this little thing?
Million two? Wow. Yeah. Premium that you.
And one of the first ones in the area, so that's another big thing for parents and their kids in storm season. So, but it's a high expense, but it's something good.
Well, it's very centrally located in the building, so as far as, emergency, you get at it quickly, you get internally, get protected, and so it worked out well. It took a lot of planning effort to make it work out. And what he's talking about, literally our guys in here spent 3 or 4 weeks with our structural engineer, because when you're dealing with concrete, it's not like you can just make a change and cut off something, you know, it's gotta be right, so the openings have to be in the right place, penetration's the right place, connection's the right place, structure, all those kind of details, before it goes up, and it's got it all planned right, and it goes together like a nice Tinkertoy set, but, if you don't do that, then you got a problem. So I think we spend a lot of time to make sure that is done.
Another question I get is how much concrete have you poured? When I talked to Mark, he said in excess of $2,000.
Yeah.
Remember those old potholes we used to have? Now we have 5-inch deep concrete in a lot of places, 6-inch deep in a lot of places, so.
Wow. Well, we had it substantially for the paving areas and for the parking areas and so on the north end and around. And I love it when I drive in here now. We got the nice wide drive. And, I mean, I know we planned it, but it's just fun when we come in and you see it implemented and go, oh yeah, this flow is so much better. It's going to be so much nicer for the fans and everyone really for the way that's going to flow. It's nice.
There's a tremendous amount of concrete that's buried. You know, up until this point, a lot of the money has been getting buried in the ground. Pipes are getting buried, the concrete's getting formed, you know, with piers and underground beams. The beams on that front ribbon, that's the arch front of the building, those beams are, you know, I'm a short guy, but they, you know, they hit me pretty high up here and how deep they are. You know, they're wide enough you can walk around it. All that's, again, gonna get buried underground, but it's the foundation of that building. So now that you start seeing the building going vertical with the steel, and by the end of the month, the shelter walls, is really gonna start transforming even more how it looks out there.
A couple of other things is that the water pressure in this building runs a little over 50, is it 50 PSI pounds per square inch? And when they hooked up to the city, it was at 150. So you can imagine what that does to a system that's challenged a bit, but they worked through all
Last
that.
night we had a flood.
We had a flood.
4-year flood.
But when you adapt to an older building, that's some of the things, but they handled that very well.
Very great.
And we got through that process.
And the great news is you're off the well now, so
We're off the well.
you're on city water, but the good news is you can use the well for irrigation. So make that adaptation, so obviously the big well will be coming off and so on, the pump, and some ideas that actually had come from contracting from his guys about doing things, we just adjust that, and so that's a great idea, because that's gonna, operationally, that's a lot of money, because there's a lot of sprinkler system around here, which is required. So there's going to be major savings in your operation.
And so the concrete walls are coming up in the next couple weeks, you said?
By the 26th, 27th.
And those are for this, the shelter?
For the shelter, that's right. There are 12 concrete panels, okay, that are 2-story high.
Yes.
These things are about 110,000 pounds.
So that's what you got to do is design for high school kids. You know? Stay there for a while.
Could we get, by the next quarter when you come back, could we get helmets so we can take a quick tour out there?
Absolutely.
And what is the project completion date do as far as the overall?
January 2020? I'm just kidding.
Let's not buy
I had to gig it, right? I'm an Aggie. No, it's, early June.
Okay. We've been working with Mike Taylor from day one on the schedule, and bottom line, again, these guys have been phenomenal. There's all kinds of reasons that they could have said, oh, this is going to extend our time, oh, this is going to extend our time. Every time they've adjusted their process, they brought subs in earlier than they planned, they did this to keep us on schedule, and I can't overstate how important that is, obviously, because when we ran into, again, problems with the city, fire marshal, that permit issue, which just drove us crazy and really delayed us, really 2 or 3 months. These guys just kept adapting. They helped us get it through the city, their contacts with the fire marshal department and all that stuff. I mean, so I'm just happy to stand here because, again, if these guys had been a different contract and done things differently, I'd be standing here saying we're 2 or 3 months behind schedule, and I wouldn't want to either because when they do this, it's really bad. But, you know, bottom line, we've just been blessed. they're a contractor, and they've worked through so many things. And I don't really like it very much, so I hate to tell you all this stuff, but no, I mean, it's a nice thing to say, because in other situations, when, we get a time schedule and contracts, because I just couldn't get myself on a job, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. But these guys, they don't give us excuses, they give us solutions, like I said, we're very appreciative to have them on board.
One last thing is that Tony and I just got back from looking at electronic signs. Now, Dr. Estes is always the one to ask about the signs. He's not here tonight, but we went to look at electronic signs. They actually came out here, Tony saw them out there, but we're looking at the electronic sign that will be able to send messages to parents and people on the highway. And all
That'd be
that.
great.
Yeah, so, and we'll have it where you can sit it in traffic and read them and things like that, but it's, maybe have the joke for, we're talking about having the joke for the day or something on there, but anyway, we went to look at that, so.
Don't put my face on there.
Yeah. Everything seems to be progressing very well. So to answer your question is, they're pretty much on schedule in June, because we gotta go do our work after June, getting desks in, computers and all that sort of stuff. So we'll be ready for the 19th school year. 19th school. So, one thing too, because you haven't been here and when you haven't been here is that we actually put off this project for 1 year because we weren't sure that we could get it done. Tony, what would you think would happen if we'd have tried to do it?
All I can tell you is the best decision you ever made. It was a great decision, because there's just so many obstacles that we've had to overcome through here. And the one thing we did not want to do, no one wanted to do, was not have the building ready whenever we started school. We just had to, and have a couple months ahead of time so you can go ahead, get your furniture in, get set up, get your teachers in, get everything ready for school. Because obviously starting a brand new building, there's going to be all kinds of rules, fixes, and things that we have to resolve over that 2-month period. So,
And you had to coordinate with the bonds, which was amazing. And you had to coordinate with the state to get it passed. So it's absolutely a miracle that this 15-month window has been able to be able to do it. We could not have done it at all. We'd have done it the year that we planned on doing it, but it all was perfect. And we should get it all accomplished right on schedule.
Yeah.
These guys have done a great job.
I think the planning process was very precise, and I would say, kind of, the coincide the schedule with the bond offering. And at that time, we had so many bond offers in the market, and putting the project off for a year, they really it gave us time to build our wait list, and it showed the confidence to the investors. I mean, our roadshow was excellent. I mean, we had oversubscription almost 5-6 times, and that we were able to obtain a very attractive interest rate for our bond. You're talking about 30 years.
I just saw the bond interest that's being posted that just received. It's gone up 1.5, which would be about $300,000 a year increase in our debt service of what it is currently.
Wow.
$300,000 for the same thing. So kudos to
The whole thing is a miracle.
yeah. Well, and also,
No, I'm
I've already told you how.
putting pressure on it. I'm putting pressure on it.
I've already told you how important on the bond and so on, working with us out. I mean, it's just been a great team effort all the way through, and everybody's held up their end of the bargain. We can depend on each other to get things done. Communication's been great. I mean, this isn't always the case. In this case, it's been really, really good.
One of the things too that you haven't seen is that Tony actually carried this project for a period of time until we got funded. If we hadn't got funded, Tony would have been stuck. So Tony helped us get to that point, because there were a lot of expenses that had to be incurred, especially on the architecture side, to be able to make it. So I mean, it just fell into place with architects, contractors, and things like that. So thanks, Tony.
Yeah, and you guys have been a great board to work with too, so it's a love fest tonight. So. I want to keep it that way.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have an action item. All of you should have copies of the board minutes from last month. Yeah, last month. accept those board minutes. So do I have a motion to accept those minutes? Stephanie?
I'll second.
Mr. Prince, all in favor? Okay. Minutes are accepted. Let's see. Moving right down the agenda with Mr. Jean.
Thank you. If you don't mind, I would sit down and talk to you. Do you mind? In your pack, we provide a standardized financial report, including a dashboard and financial report. Yeah. This is our last month of fiscal year 2017, 2018. Again, I don't always say it every month, but this is subject to audit. So meaning there could be adjustments made to the financial I presented to the board. That if you look at your dashboard, ending August 31st, 2018, we ended $628,000 surplus. That's before depreciation and amortization. So if you take depreciation and amortization out of $628,000, we would end somewhere close to about $425,000 in the black, which is outstanding. I mean, for the size of our school, we will be able to maintain expenditure and also kudos to all the administrations, maintain the student body and keep the family around, showing the effort and the quality of education we provide. It's a big deal. And we continue to add our cash on the balance sheet. If normally most of the board members are not here, last year, we ended about $1.1 million cash on the balance sheet on the last audit financial, ended August 31st, 2017. So we are adding somewhere approximately about $800,000 cash on the balance sheet. Again, it's a subject to audit, but my number is fairly close to the actuals right now. Ending August, we're at 112 days cash on hand. That's almost, almost 4 months cash. And the TA requirement for getting 10 points is only 60 days. We set a high bar, say our benchmark is 90 days. So we set a very high bar for ourselves. If you have 20 days and more cash on hand, you start getting 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, so forth. And so you reach 60 days, you get 10 points on the charter first reading. We're in an excellent stage. That does not include bond money in the special restricted project account. We have about $13 million in that account right now. We continue to maintain the administrative ratio, which is part of the charter first rating. But hopefully we will have a lower than 17% because again, we just closed the books. We're going through the self-testing period before the auditor start coming for the field work, which is scheduled on the 15th.
So basically, that means 17% of total staff or administrators?
It's a sophisticated calculation. So they basically look at your administration costs as well as the school administration costs. Okay. The back office and school administration divided by anything that's related to instructional activities. For instance, your classroom teacher, your media library service, your counselor service, as well as staff development. So you add all the four function codes divided by using the nutrition expenditure divided by those codes. So the less the better.
Okay.
That's your question. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Normally, it's a ratio that most smaller charter school struggles because whether you run 200 kids school or you run a 2,000 kids school, you still need a payroll person, right? You still need a financial person. You still need a superintendent. And so those, once you get bigger, you start getting sizable. You have a 12 accounts. That's what we should for. So I think this is our crucial year. Once we have that building up running, I probably will take that indicator off the dash. So this dash was built for the board. If you wish to see any different indicator, let us know. We will count them. So we have the data. We can make dashboard the way you want it to go.
And Drew, the first year I was here, we ran about 22%. And so
Yeah,
we
it's
set
very
a target
common.
to try to make sure we maintain that average below that 20%. So 20% is what they say to run, and we run 17, so that's
Yes. Good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 16.
Yeah, we have been maintaining a very, very healthy current ratio. I mean, this is very common for a for-profit company as well. Basically, every dollar debt we have $7 asset account, which is phenomenal. And it's a great testimony to the mission and the work, the hard work that the mission.
That's great.
Yeah.
And the state benchmark is 1?
It's just like, wow, yeah. We're 7
That's
times
great.
more than the state benchmark. Yeah. And some of the caveat on the bottom little 2 boxes there, we just try to tell you what's going on, what's in the pipeline as far as the things that we're doing from a financial perspective, as well as the things we have been doing and we have already accomplished. So the bold bullets are the new ones. And we try to keep the past notes there just for your reference. Okay. So we got a superior reading on our charter first, which is still a preliminary reading as of today. We are hoping the state will release the final reading anytime. They told us on the 15th, but today is 18th. We still haven't seen the superintendent letter or notice yet. You will be getting a notice, Kayla, on the finalization of charter first. But as soon as we get that notification, we will publicize the reading to a local newspaper. Then next board meeting, we will hold a public hearing, coincide with our regular board meeting. So we don't have to run separate meetings. So that will normally take about 5-10 minutes to address to the public as far as some of the key indicators.
You don't anticipate that going down, do you?
No. No. Yeah.
We're at 100%.
Yeah. There's. Yeah. Any questions on the dashboard? Then EU package will provide the normal financial reports. Quickly run down those. The first page you're looking at is we call the consolidated financial income statement ending August 31st, 2018. We are, I just give you some key bullet point from a revenue and expenditure perspective. On the state FSP program revenue line, which is 5810 object code, we budgeted at $5.4 million. We brought in almost $5.9 million. That tells us we had a good year, great year. I mean, we were not, Mr. Sparlock and Kayla always budget very conservatively when we budget revenue. We take haircut here and there. We make sure we don't over estimate the enrollment. That tells you we probably underestimated about somewhere close to about 25-30 kids at least. That being said, you can see on the right column you have a percentage variances there. We're about 9% above our budget state revenue. That's the largest chunk of money in our operation. So having said that, so you would expect, we spend a little bit more money on the instructional activity to accommodate the additional kids we brought in. That's why you see on the instructional line item, which is the largest line item amongst all the expenditure, we have about 7% increase. still in line with what your, 2% less than the revenue is growing. So, just want to give you some key points. So, so then, on the general administration, you work your CEO too hard. So we have overtime there, and we have also some of the positions we did not anticipate we would need for the the central office supporting Dallas campus as well as Duncanville campus, and that have some of our staff's support as well. So that's where your $60,000 overage there. But again, if you look at another lines, there's way more surplus than the deficit on line item from line item standpoint. Another big one that's about 9% over is the debt service. At the end of our closing on a bond, Stephen would remember that the timer when come back said we owe them that amount of payment, which is kind of, what can we say? At that time, we need to close the bond. So we pay them 1 month more, which is about $40,000. Yeah. So those are the key points I have. If you flip the last page of your packet, there's a balance sheet there. I was mentioning about the cash. The balance sheet is showing about almost $1.8 million on the cash statement in the report. Yeah, it should be a balance sheet.
Here, you can give me mine.
Yes. Yeah, yes. This here. No,
that's
no, that's cash.
That's cash, that's not the balance sheet.
Yeah.
None of it. Oh, I don't have.
Oh, they don't have either.
That's how did you get printed out? There's some on the table. But anyway, I can run down very quickly on the balance sheet. So on the balance sheet, we have about $1.8 million cash at ending August 31st. Then we have about, like I said, about $14 million cash in the restricted bond account. That gave us all the current current asset. That's about $15 million there. Then we have some of the land and building, this building still on the balance sheet, with about $7.5 million. So that gives us a total about $24 million total assets. We're about 20. That said, normally we refer to we have $24 million company, basically. Yeah. On the liability side, we have about $255,000 current liability that covers the accrued wages. Not that. Then we have about $22 million bond payable. Yeah, we need to pay the bond back without additional kids in the pipeline. And then adding the current year's surplus, about $600,000 per surplus, we end at about $24 million total liability plus the net assets.
Gene, the grant that was awarded back in June, did we ever receive distribution on those funds?
Not yet. We've been talking to our attorney. Yes, I should give you an update on TSAP. The legal documents are already drafted. We sent it to there's another organization about TSAP. It's called the Texas Public Financing Authority. So the authority's attorney is taking time to review them. Normally it will take you about 6 months to 10 months to get the money. But again, it's a sure thing. The money is in there with the comptroller's office. They just need to make sure they gave the authority the money so the authority can release the money from our reserve account, put them into the project account, so we can get to use it. So, which is a great thing. We didn't have that $1 million budget in the project over there. So, yeah, we have another discretionary we can use.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any questions on that?
All the schools that applied for that didn't get it.
There's 2 schools applied that they didn't get. There's another school still trying. It's interesting. So not only we have to manage this almost close to $18 million project, but also we continue to maintain a stellar financial performance on the operating side. You know, at the end of the day, they're investors, right? They look at your performance. Right. You know, you finish the building, they want to fill up the building. Maybe we need to sell the tickets so somebody can visit the bunker, whatever. We can recoup some cash. It's a.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. You know, one thing I really want to encourage the board is we need also, you know, spend some effort on local resources. You know, completely rely on the federal and state funding is essential, but local support is also, it makes big difference. Yeah. I know we cannot ask for money, but we can rally behind the parents and the community to support us, so we can have supplemental programs, supplemental you know, educational activities to support our kids. For instance, like the Jim doing great things on robotics. I mean, they are very well known in the charter and school world. I mean, everybody knows UME has a beautiful robotic program. So, I mean, that program alone brings lots of money to support the kids' actual curriculum activities. So, and that's just one example. And Uplift is doing very well too on their local fundraising efforts. So we need to do better on that part too. That shows you effort, you know, to the investors. They like to see that. They like for you to diversify your portfolio. I mean, you do that on one thing, well, how many things you can spend.
A couple things. One is we're now about $350,000 a month in curriculum, which is, that's not a small organization. Second thing is that when we met with Kayla, she already had all the answers down before we met with her, so that means that she's got a better and full understanding of what's going on. And she's already met with the principals to talk to them about things that she would like to see, so that's progressing really good too.
I feel very humbled, yeah, and you know, if you look at your dashboard was published on September the 2nd. So we can close a fiscal year in a couple of days, which is almost unheard of. Yeah, I can produce you financial almost the next day like this. And we run real fast on data. So we almost have live data on a weekly basis. So if you ask me to run you a September number, I have all the way probably through 15. It's amazing. I mean, the work of my staff are doing that supports my my work on the reporting part. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Any questions? Gene? All right.
I think
They accepted the item, yes.
We do need to.
Yes, I make a motion to
Okay.
accept the financial reports as presented.
Thank you. Give me 1 second. Jim will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Gene. Thank you. All right. Let's see, one of our new members, Mr. Grace.
Yes.
You have a prepared document for us?
I do. There's actually in our packet there, it's called PAC report. There's a date on it, and this is just a simple document to give a timeline for what I'm going to be speaking about. I did have a chance to meet with the PAC team on the Dallas side, and I just wanted to say up front how impressed I've been with this team. I mean, if our parent body was an army, I think they would be the special forces. There's a passion about them. There's a commitment level that's there. You just get the sense, the energy that's there is fantastic. Everybody's sleeves are rolled up and they're ready to serve. And I was just extremely impressed. And we have a great leader in Lacey. This is your wheelhouse. This is what she does. She does a fantastic job. So I just wanted to say that. Very impressed by the Dallas PAC team. And what I'm going to be sharing with is really on the Dallas side, and then we'll talk about the Duncanville side as well. But we've had a lot of great successes with the Air Hogs game. That was a fundraiser for the school to put that money back into the school, and that went very well. The book fair was phenomenal from what I've heard. I don't know if you know this, but they've actually raised about $5,000 to be given back to the school with books through Scholastic. So that's exciting to hear. You know, when you think about, you know, wanting to give back to the school, they're doing that. Some events that are coming up, the North Texas Giving Day, that was set. That's in 2 days, and this is a great opportunity. You know, North Texas Giving Day is a, you know, opportunity to give back to nonprofits. What a nonprofit give back to right here, right? And so the PAC is raising awareness with the parents. They're going to be making phone calls and getting the word out, and just wanted to encourage all of us here on the board to participate in that as well. The goal is $10,000. So we've set the goal high, but we really believe we can meet it. So some other things that are coming up, the carnival is going to be October the 19th, and that's really geared for lower grades, K through 6. It's going to be held here, and it's going to be a pretty big event. I think there's over a dozen booths that are going to be set up, and a lot of, I'm sorry? 30 booths, forgive me, 30 booths are going to be set up. It's going to be a great time for parents to come and just, you know, have a great time of fellowship with each other, and just another way to give back to the school. The homecoming game is going to be on the 20th, so we're excited about that. And then one other thing I'll share is that we're really trying to use Facebook now as a tool to connect with the parents. So the PAC has really been intentional about that, and reaching out to the parents on a weekly basis just to have deeper connections. So that's exciting to hear about. On the Duncanville side, had an opportunity to meet with Mrs. Horton a couple weeks back, and we had a chance to just sit down, and she did a great job of really just kind of reviewing the history of the school, the culture of the school. I got to go on a tour and meet many of her great staff there. I was very impressed just being able to spend time there. And then I got to go to curriculum night. She invited me to curriculum night, which was last week. It was the 5th and 6th graders, and I was impressed by the turnout. I had a chance to meet some of those parents, to introduce myself, and a lot of them were first-time parents to the school, and some of the comments I heard were very impressed with how you want us to be involved, and that they really saw that as part of the culture there. They liked that. I've heard some others say, you know, our students were really being able to adapt here, where in the other school setting that we were in, we couldn't do that. Overall, just a very positive group, and a lot of great energy there. We talked about the PAC, and we're going to set up a time for me to be able to meet with their PAC and get to know them and understand some of their goals for the school overall. So I'm excited to do that. We're going to set that up soon. One other thing I'll share is, as far as communication, I thought about what would be the best way for me to communicate with the parents. So getting to know them, obviously I've been doing that, being intentional, and for all of you guys, my daughter is a cheerleader, so I go to the games and I get to know parents that way. But I wanted a way to be able to communicate really the heart of the school and what's going on, and so I decided to create a video. And this video is going to be sent out once a month. It's going to be just a kind of a brief, maybe 4 or 5 minute video that overlays kind of some of the things we're learning here as in the board, and some of the exciting things that are going on at the school. And I'm going to be working with Lacey and her PAC team to be able to get those videos out. It's going to be on the website of the school. But in the world that we live in, it's so fast-paced, parents are so busy, I just thought having a short video would be a great way to just communicate. So we're excited about doing that. And then also going to be doing the same thing on the Duncanville side, is kind of creating a video. Mrs. Horton and I thought about even doing one where there's kind of an interview, kind of introducing me to the parents, and we have some other ideas to do that as well. So on both campuses, we're going to be doing some creative videos just to communicate with the parents. So very, very excited to be a part of this and excited to serve. So.
Awesome.
I appreciate your
Glad you're
energy.
here.
Yeah. Any questions on anything or?
Yeah, did you have any idea this was gonna be what the job looked like?
I had no idea. No, I really didn't. I mean, I love the school but you know, going into that PAC meeting, I was like, this is a different level. These guys are on a different level. I was like, wow, I just need to be quiet and listen. The energy, the preciseness. I mean, they know down to the piece of candy how much that costs when they're doing a fundraiser. You just see the intention and love that they have for the kiddos. It's pretty incredible. So, but I'm excited. I'm having a lot of fun.
Awesome. All right, Rick, thank you. Kayla,
Yes.
you got anything for us?
Just a couple things. First, I want to say to the board, thank you, and how honored, privileged I am to be in this position. So, thank you.
We're excited you're here.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Well
Thank you.
deserved. Well
I was
deserved.
sad that I didn't get to hear the announcement last month, so, but I'm very, very excited. We have only great things ahead of us. I was at my first superintendent's meeting, regional meeting last week since I got the position. And someone at that meeting shared with me that UME is a Generation 16 charter school, which I knew that. But I think we may have talked about this on the board level, but the year that we opened, there were 7 charter schools approved by TEA. We're the only school that is still open out of those 7 schools. So,
That's sad.
very sad.
That's good for us,
Very
but that's
sad. It is a testament to the hard work that has gone into this school, because this is not an easy road. Charter schools are not as favorably looked at as ISDs, and so there are a lot of regulations and things that are harder for us. And for us to still be here says a lot. So it is sad. I thought that was a terrible statistic, wonderful for us, but it's taken a lot of hard work, and I think we need to recognize where we are and what we have put into this. So that was interesting. We've had a really, really great start to the school year. It's been so smooth. I'm so impressed with our new faculty, and I told them that today when we had a faculty meeting. The only things challenges we have run into have been floods, fires, and large caverns across our entrance to the school. But besides that, it's been really, really smooth. That's it. We're already starting to look at all of the planning that needs to take place this year to get to next year, because we are moving into a brand new building next year, and we have to fill that building. That is a lot of work for us this year. My team sitting back there, it's going to be boots on the ground this year. We have a lot of faculty and staff that has to be hired before next fall. A lot of student seats that need to be filled. So it is a lot of planning, a lot of scheduling and planning. We're already starting to work on that. It's going to be very important that we spend the time on that this year that it's going to take to be successful. And besides that, we've had wonderful news that we have 2 new principals for this school. So I know you guys know this, but Joni Holder has agreed to take the elementary position.
Yeah.
And James Tweedy the secondary position, which is
Yeah.
7 to 12. And I just want to say 2 people who have lots of experience, who are talented in their field, and they already have connections with the community of our school, the parents, the students, the teachers, and so it has been nothing but a smooth and great transition. No glitches at all. So I could not be more grateful. So,
Congratulations.
Awesome.
So excited.
Oh, we're gonna hear from them. They don't get to just sit over there and look pretty.
yeah, I will say that A few days ago, I said, oh, one of you, you have to do a little presentation at the board, and Joni was like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm not, what am I doing?
On 1 foot. Okay, thank you, Kayla. Well, speaking of Joan, let's just get her up here.
Yeah. I didn't get much notice, but Kayla and Ginger did go, oh, by the way, you're on the board, on the agenda for the board meeting. I was like, oh, okay, baptism by fire, right over there. Okay, like Kayla, I just want to say I am very, very honored and blessed to be the new principal for UME Elementary. My kids used to kid me when I was a teacher because every time I would go to the grocery store or anywhere, I would find a way to tell them I was a teacher. Like they're checking me out, oh, well, I'm buying this because I'm a teacher. And they were like, Mom, not everybody cares that you're a teacher. But I was so proud to be a teacher, and I'm very proud to be a principal. So I've been saying that a lot too, like, oh, by the way, I show them my badge, I'm the principal now. But, it's very exciting, and even though this is day 12, but who's counting, right? I know that there are a lot of really special days to come, and I look forward to what God's plan is for me at this school and for this school, because I know He has one for us.
That's right.
I definitely want to thank Kayla and Mike, because they have supported me beyond measure. They have believed in me, and they've given me this opportunity, and I can't tell you how much that means to me. When Kayla first talked to me about it, I can honestly tell you, I think I was more touched by the fact that she wanted me to be the principal than actually being the principal, because it just meant so much that they believed in me, and to be a part of their leadership team. That's amazing. I've learned so much from both of you, and I know that I will continue to learn and from your wisdom. They're both very, very full of wisdom. So it's a pleasure to work with you guys. And to the board for your support and encouragement. I feel very, very loved by you guys, and I just want you to know the feeling is mutual, and I look forward to our partnership over the next 20 years. I may be in a wheelchair, but we'll get to it. Okay. So, and
You don't get to rotate off like we do.
well, I want to rotate with you, Mike. No, I want to talk to you in the stand. But I would like to say one more thing before I move away from myself. But you know how sometimes you hear the saying that this something is a God thing? Well, from the start of the whole superintendent search all the way down, I just kept praying, God, I don't know what you have in store for you and me, but whatever your will is, that's what we want. Even though I really wanted Caleb, and I wanted this position for myself, if that was available, I just kept saying, but that may not be what the will is for this school. So I prayed and prayed. And honestly, you know how when you know it's a God thing, when something just happens and you're like, yep, that happened for a reason. That's the way I feel about this. So I just want you to know that's my heart. So now, that's enough about me. I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick update about what's going on with the UME campus on the elementary end. Of course, Mr. Grace has said a few things. It's kind of like when Sarah used to go first and Kayla would say, you're stealing my thunder, you know? You stole a little bit of my thunder, but
I'm
not
so
much.
sorry.
No, I'm going to look at it from a different perspective
All
than
right.
you, okay? I promise.
Yeah.
But first, I want to give you a little update on our enrollment. You have this in your packet, and it's pretty much the same as it has been. I'm just going to talk about K through 6. You can see that we are below our capacity in kindergarten by 8, but we have 53 on the waiting list, and that's because they're wanting 5-day kindergarten, and our 3-day and 2-day are not filled. But we could fill with a 5-day, so we are a little bit under there.
Can I stop you right there?
Yes.
Because if you remember, y'all made a very strategic decision to add 5-day kindergarten because that's what the people were wanting. And it wasn't popular, but it just goes to show you made the right decision because there are more people waiting for the 5th grade than 5-day.
5-day?
Yeah. So.
And we'll be, be discussing that for next year. And then in first grade, we're also 2 under, but remember that we added a 3rd section in first grade this year. So that explains that because we do have 3 sections now. And everything else, we're just either 1 or 2 over capacity. We have our total enrollment, but this is for the whole school, of course, is 629. So.
And with that said, just to remind you, is remember we said that we would do beginning with 2 up to 2 over because we have nutrition usually in the first 3 or 4 months. So that's why those aren't more, because we capped them at 2.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Spurlock. Okay, and we just finished, like Mr. Gray said, our book fair. And I just, since you told about how successful it was and the cash sales and all the stuff that's right here on my cards.
We need to get together.
Yeah, we will. But I wanted to tell you this. First of all, Lacey and Kristen Killingsworth ran that book fair, and they were amazing. A book fair is hard to put on. I put one on before, and it is a lot of work. And they were here setting those things up at 7 o'clock. I was helping Maddie roll the bookcases down there, and we got it all set up. They were amazing. Thank you so much, because you made it happen. And then the other perspective that you didn't get to see was when Kayla and I were at the front door, the kids started coming in the first day of the book fair, and it was like they were walking into Disney World, because they'd look over and they'd see those books all sitting in the foyer, and they were just like, oh my gosh, books. And Kayla and I got so tickled, because they just were so excited about a book fair. So just know that that's who it really means a lot to. And of course, we do like the money as well.
Yeah,
So
we
keep
do.
that up. Okay.
It's a win.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm just asking, because our granddaughter's private school is doing it. Do you have a Grandparents' Day? Do you have Grandparents' Day in conjunction with book fair?
Oh, that's a good idea.
We haven't, but
That's one of the things we've done before. I guarantee you, grandmas cannot resist buying us 3 more books.
Mhm. That's a great suggestion.
No matter if mom says they only get 1 book each, and here's the money,
That's so
and that's from
true.
mom,
Grandma,
I'll buy you
yeah.
3, you know.
Yeah.
That's a
so
great
true.
suggestion. Mhm.
We did do it in conjunction with curriculum nights this
Mhm.
year, so that the book fair was running when all the parents came in for elementary curriculum night. We made a lot of money that day.
Yes,
That was
that was helpful.
an $1,800
That's
day.
good to get, to have something.
But who's
they get.
counting?
Yes.
But grandparents, we're
Grandparents.
suckers, I do something.
I agree. Okay, and I'm going to wrap this up quickly so I don't go over my little time limit, but we did have our first faculty meeting today, and James and I got to lead in the faculty meeting, which was fun, and we talked about differentiated instruction, we talked about RTI, which means response to intervention, and that's what we do for our struggling kids. We have a new RTI coordinator this year, and she is fantastic. She's got 30-something years experience, and she knows what she's doing. She's going to help us really intervene for our kids that need help. We also talked about how important it is to build relationships with our students, because that's how you really engage them and get them to want to learn. It's like learning about them and finding out, what it is they're interested in. So we stressed a lot of that. And then, as was already mentioned, this Thursday is our North Texas Giving Day, and Julie Nicholson has worked hard on getting this to be promoted, and we have been trying to pump up the teachers. They're very excited. Some of them are trying to compete against each other, like which grade level can raise the most money. And honestly, I just have a strange feeling that we're going to do better than we've ever done before. I think we're going to hit that $10,000 goal and more. And if we do hit the $10,000 goal, one of the things that Julie has come up with is that every teacher in our building will get $100 to spend in their classroom on something that will be beneficial to the kids, $100 each. And so that is really motivating the teachers. And then they're indeed turning around and motivating their students and telling them, don't forget to remind your parents. So I think it's going to be very, very successful. And we got some moms back here and they're going to spread the word too. They've been giving flyers out after school, and it's going to be really wonderful. Okay, finally, I say my favorite thing to talk about till the end is the carnival. And again, we've heard it. We may hear it 2 more times or another time from James and Shannon. But I would like to say that I was at some of the PAC meetings when they just started planning it, and they, like you say, were so excited and came up with great things. We're going to have a cakewalk. We're going to have a dunking booth, and I'm going to be able to be, this is a privilege, I'm sure, duct taped to a wall. Now, I've never heard of that. Well, is she agreed to it? And Ms. Horton is also going to be duct taped to the wall.
I'm a little weirded out by it, but I mean,
We're doing peer pressure on her. Come on. I'm just worried. I think it's better than a pie in the face, but it all depends on the strength of the duct tape. Because if the duct tape isn't strong enough, you could just kind of collapse. But anyway, I'm counting on expensive duct tape. It's going to be good. So anyway, our carnival is gonna be amazing. It's gonna be so much fun. It's the 19th from 6 to 9. So you guys should come. If you have grandkids, kids,
Grandchildren or children.
bring them because they'll have the time of their lives. It's gonna be a blast. Okay, I think, yeah, and I'll let James tell about the food booths because I don't want to steal his thunder. Okay, and I think I'm on my last, nope, one more. Okay, there's too many wonderful things going on that I can't talk to all of them. I'll tell you all about them because I don't want to go over my time. Have I gone over my time, James? You're supposed to be time limited. He's supposed to give me a thumbs up when I'm 1 minute away. Okay, I am close, but I'm on my last bullet point. So, I want to thank you again because I just can't tell you how excited I am about the upcoming years at UME, and especially with the new school and this school transitioning. And Kayla, like Kayla said, we are a definite team, and we're in this together, and we're going to work together to make this the best school possible. I can't wait to see what God has planned for all of us. And in closing, I just want to say that these 4 ladies right here, they help run this school. They're all amazing, and we appreciate them so much. You can't even imagine. I've talked to some of the teachers here about failing your children so that you can stay in elementary, but I cannot bear the thought of y'all going over to the new building. In fact, that's the only thing I'm a little bit sad about is, some of these people are going to be moving out. But anyway, but thank you for everything y'all did for
Can I ask
us.
one question since we're streaming it live and whatever? What school district did you come from?
Are you going to say something ugly about my school district?
No.
Okay, Arlington,
And how many years did you work there?
35 in Arlington.
And you're enjoying this concept?
Oh, I love this concept. But
It's a good
where's
point.
that stream? But I love Arlington too. Don't you see? I gotta give him a shout out. I loved every minute of my time in Arlington. I love you.
You're over time.
Edit that out.
Cut that.
Thank you, Tony. That was great. Okay. Tough act to follow. Come on in.
He can do it.
I know he can.
Well, I also want to say that I am very encouraged and pleased to be a part of the community. I remember in 2015 coming and talking to Mr. Spurlock, and at that time Grants, and not knowing what to expect, just wanting to come back to the classroom and just teach one class, making about, $300 a month or something like that. And it was a really great opportunity, and I started getting asked to do more and more and more, and I really appreciate you, Ms. Smith, for seeing something in me that I didn't even know sometimes that was there, and you too, Mr. Spurlock, for saying, hey, I trust you with this. You go and do this. And so I am so happy about this opportunity. And this is not my actual first time speaking in front of the board. I think the second year I was here, I was talking about some of the things we were doing with culture, and then last year I brought a young man, and we talked about how he was doing some great things in the community. So it's really nice to have moved right on up into this capacity. I mean, this is like nowhere else. I'm just really, really pleased. And not only that, again, when it was my first time, sitting in with the PAC, and I was so impressed. I said, the precision of this, my goodness, I mean, they were on it. I have been in many meetings where it hasn't gone as well, and I know that you all have an intense love for this school, and I tell you right now, this place could not run without your influence, without your prayers, and without your commitment. And I just want to say, as a leader, I do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. So I too have some things to celebrate. One of the things that I'm really, really cognizant of is the fact that we have to create a strong culture. Before we move into this new building, we have to take a strong culture with us. So I'm really happy on the secondary level to report that we are making strides in creating some traditions and some processes that really are important. But the first thing I want to talk about before we even start talking about that is enrollment. Right now, in that transition year between 8th and 9th, we have a couple seats that are vacant, but I think that's kind of the expectation at this point with that transition. We have I think it's about 14 seats in the senior class that we're not at max, but it's the senior year. It's kind of better to, you know, it's hard to have people change in the middle of the senior year or get ready for that. But I think right now at this point, I think we're kind of at that level of expectation when it comes to what we can do with seniors and what we expect to see with enrollment with seniors. So I think we're doing pretty well with that at this point. So I want to get back to this creating a sense of culture. The reason why it is important to create this sense of culture is because, especially on the secondary level, we want to make sure that when scholars come in from a variety of different family makeups, from different cultures, that we all start to come together and preserve what we have created. Now, we don't want to exclude anyone. We don't want to say anyone doesn't fit, but we want to make sure that we are organized and have a way for people to grow within the model. So one of the things that is very important to me is to create leaders who are thinking about how they can be role models in a time where people want to give up that responsibility of being a role model. So I'm happy to say that we had class elections. The kids voted for those people who are going to be their leaders. So we have 4 officers for each class now. They are doing a great job, more than ever before, in creating processes for the prom, even now, and their class trip even now. But also, they're doing some great things with student life and saying, hey, we're going to look forward to the future. So they're actually stepping up to the bat and really trying to take advantage of that. So those things have been going really smoothly. We are preparing for our first Hispanic Heritage Month celebration, and the kids are so excited because they're going to have such a prominent role in that. So I'm really happy to see that, and I'll be able to report how that's going next month. We also, last week, again, we had curriculum night. I know that parents were actually happy about how much information they received and how our teachers are giving them ways to be successful and ways to access them and all of that. So that's really good. Another thing that's really important is homecoming is coming up, and our scholars are really getting into the full swing of thinking about those things, those fun things to do, because hey, high school and middle school, it's about fun just as much as it is for kids, just as much as it is about the education. So they're looking forward to their spirit days and, you know, coming up with those unique themes for those days and all of that. So when it comes to student life, they're really starting to think about how this culture is going to not only be something rigorous, but fun as well. Another thing that is really important to note is we are also preparing for the PSAT. We have our 10th and 11th graders will be taking the PSAT. Our 9th graders will be taking a career inventory. And one of the best things, our 12th graders are going to go on a college tour. Now, what's interesting about our college tour this year is I started off the process of going through it myself, and that's what I've done in the past, and trying to help, you know, secure that. One of the young ladies who's now the president of the senior class, Daniela, she said, well, what can I do? How can I help? And she's been calling around to the different schools, and she gave me a report today. She came right up to me. She said, I did this, I did this, I did this, and this. So she's trying to secure us a day of a college tour at DBU, so we can go there in the morning. And so it's really great to see the kids step up. And another young lady, Andrea Chun, she has done a really great job of getting our flag service together. So she gets out every morning, because just this week we really got that going. So what I'm really happy about is seeing how the kids are stepping up. And in robotics, the FTC kids, they are in full swing, excited about it, and starting to come to me and say, well, we would like to do this. We're really excited about this with our coaches and our mentors and all of that. So I'm really happy about seeing them come together and do that. So that is a really great thing to see. Another really good aspect in closing that we have for our middle schoolers is a new mentoring program with Mr. Foster. So he is really good at that age group, at that 7th, 8th. I mean, he has, I can't. When it comes to middle school, I was always like, you can have all that. But he really steps in there, and he has communication with them and talks to them, and he meets with them every Tuesday and Thursday with a group or two. And in school culture, what we do is we've now created an intervention so that kids aren't always given punishment, but they're given an opportunity to have some mentoring as a way to kind of help them understand where we are in that culture. So as you can see, I'm really, really happy about making sure that we create a strong culture because one of the things I noticed when I came from the Philadelphia area, and when I was teaching-wise, I'm from Washington, D.C., but I was teaching in the Philadelphia area. And when I left there, they had created the School of the Future, and it was all paid for by Bill Gates and Belinda and Bill Gates. And it was marvelous. And this is the reason why I'm talking about this is because we're building a new building. Beautiful, state-of-the-art, had everything in it within a year. Evangelism, all kinds of stuff, because they had not created a culture where the kids said, I want to be a messenger of good, I want to be a role model, I want to be a leader. And there's no better way to create leaders if we don't give them a sense of authentic practice. So in this building, we have a commitment to that, and I'm growing that in our secondary program so that we can start to see how they transition from elementary to middle to high. So I look forward to giving you more good news about our program, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. Wow. We got some good people. Wow. Great.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I tell you, Joni's wanting strong tape because she's afraid she's going to fall off that wall. I'm afraid they're going to put strong tape up there and leave me on it. So that's what wigs me out about it. I'm afraid you're leaving there.
I won't let that happen.
Thank you, Lacey. I do want to say congratulations to Kayla and to Joni and James as well. I'm excited to be part of this team. I think it's a strong team. I think it's a solid team. And I think that it's going to be an exciting future moving forward. So congratulations publicly to all three of them. Starting off with enrollment, we are at 84% capacity. You can see that. What I want to point out to you is that on opening day, we had 202 students. We've had a 10% growth just since the first day of school. So we're excited about that. It's been a very steady growth. Carolyn is working diligently in trying to get more students to enroll. We need 2 more to get that 85%, which was our goal. I'd love to be at 90% and 95%, but right now, short-term goal is 85%. We also had curriculum nights on our campus. We did them slightly differently. From Dallas campus, we did a 1st and 2nd grade night, a 3rd and 4th grade night, and a 5th and 6th grade night. And we formatted it in a day in the life of. And so when the parents came into the gym, we had chairs lined up behind the crates in lines. And they sat in the lines just like the kids do when they come in the morning. And I even sang good morning. Good morning, we're so glad that you're at school. Because I always start the morning announcements with singing to them. And then we made them stand up and do pledges. And it was funny how you could tell who hadn't grown up in Texas because, like me, they had to learn to pledge the Texas flag. And then we sat everybody down and did a moment of silence. And then we did announcements. And I read the question of the day for that day. And we talked about how every moment is precious at UME. That it's so intentional that when their student is late, these are all the things that happen before school starts. And that this is the community and the culture building that your kid is missing if they come in late. And that's so important. James and I have been talking for several years about intentional culture, and that continues over on the Duncanville campus as well. One of the things that we did grew out of what I call Chow with the Chief. And so I have lunch once a month with the 5th graders and the 6th graders, and we do some exercises about culture, and we do some object lessons about whatever topic happens to be important to that group. And one of the things that we were looking at this month was valuing each other's differences. And so I call them culture flocks because we're eagles. And so I asked the kids to, okay, I'm going to say a category. If it applies to you, come to this side of the room. And if it doesn't apply to you, come to this side of the room. And we can start with, I've always lived in Texas. Or I prefer fruity flavors of candy over chocolate. Easy things. And so out of that, I moved that into the parent curriculum nights as well, so that they could do a little culture building among each of those grade level groups. And we started with, I've always lived in Texas. You've always lived in Texas, please stand.
Look around the room. How diverse are we? If you have more than 2 children, please stand. Look around the room. Not everybody is the same as you. If you are new to UME, would you please stand? And at least half of the room in the 5th and 6th grade group was new to UME. And so it was a way to help each other see that just because my best friend is my best friend doesn't mean that they're exactly like me and that the differences can be celebrated. So we are bringing that into play as well. One of the things that Mr. Grace said that he was impressed with was the attendance on the night that he was there for 5th and 6th grade. That was our lowest attended night, and it was 40% of our parents were present that night. The 3rd and 4th grade scholars families, 52%, and the 1st and 2nd graders, 63% of our families came to curriculum night. So we were very excited about that. One of the events that we had recently this last week was granola with grand pals. We started including grandparent figures. It doesn't have to be your grandparent, it can be your neighbor, it can be your aunt, it can be whoever it is that plays that surrogate role of grandparent in your life. Come have breakfast with your students. And so we changed the formatting up a little bit, and we had 57 grand pals come and have breakfast with our scholars that morning. Our older students, the 5th and 6th graders, helped clean up as a service project back to the school. And we were excited to be able to offer that to them. Our Success Mentors began today. That is some of the National Honor Society students, both 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, are invited over to mentor our students in helping with homework after school. That we have identified some students that are not doing well in their coursework, not because they can't do it, but because they're just not getting the homework accomplished. And so it was a time to sit down and one-on-one or two-on-one mentor some of those students. That began today, and as well as tags. That is our tutoring process for at-risk students. That began today on the Denver campus as well. North Texas Giving Day. On the Dallas campus, parents come into the building more often than they do on the Duncanville campus. So what our parent leadership, our PAC group, decided was we're going to do giving for goodies. And we'll set up a kiosk and we will advertise that if you come in, if you park and come into the building and actually give at the kiosk, then in the morning you'll get a donut and in the afternoon you'll get ice cream. And so we're giving for goodies, and we're hoping to have a really good showing on the Duncanville campus for North Texas Giving Day, supporting our teachers. Like Joan said, we're really excited to be able to give $100 back into the classroom to each of those teachers to customize the needs in their room. But it's been a good month, and we're looking forward to a really good school year. Any questions?
What about ESL?
Pastor Andrade is working on that process as well. As the last I heard, they were still meeting. Do you know when their next ESL group happens?
Not at this time, but the one heading it off is in Argentina right now.
Okay.
Yes, but he'll be back soon.
We're excited to be part of that process, that ministry through the church. We're also hosting the homecoming game on the Duncanville campus. We're thrilled about that. We were trying to host the junior high event as well, and it's not looking like the date is going to coincide well. We're trying to brainstorm further ideas about that.
One thing to point out, to let you know, is on the average in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the schools lose 25% of their students to moving out of state, moving to another part of town, whatever. 25% turnover. So when you take a look at these numbers and you think, okay, you've got to backfill 25% to make these numbers come out the same. So that's an amazing thing. The second thing is that originally planned was that Duncanville was also a feeder school into the junior high school and the high school, and it is working that way. So kudos to y'all for doing that, but when we analyzed it, when Shannon analyzed it, 10 of the students that left were siblings to students that went over here. So that for traffic and all that, they come over here. So for her to be able to backfill to where she is now with those numbers, it's phenomenal. And the same thing is it's working to fill the junior high school, because if you remember way back, junior high was a challenge. And now that has worked. So again, kudos to the board for your insight. And two, it's so nice to have a board that's not going, aha, gotcha. what you've got is a board that analyzes and listens to your principles and things and says, what a miracle it was to be where we are. It's amazing. So kudos to you and to Kayla and the whole group that you've been able to retain these people as well as you have. Because it's really swimming against the tide.
It is true, that's true. I've been over here a couple of times to visit during lunch to just say hello to our 7th graders that came over from Duncanville. They have nothing but positive, exciting things to say. They've integrated really well into the culture over here, and they're thrilled to be a part of UME in junior high. And so we want to keep that momentum going and continue to partner with Dallas campus so that our students do stay with the UME methodology as they get into secondary. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we owe Jody a clap. We didn't clap.
You got it.
No, we didn't. We said, we gave you the thumbs slide.
All right. If I can get you to just bear with me, I'm going to read a little bit to you. It's not very long, but I think it's important. And so here we go. Whereas the Board of Directors of UME Preparatory desires to designate Kayla Smith as the superintendent, and whereas the board has found, based upon appropriate comparability data, and her salary is fair, reasonable, and not in excess of fair market value based on her education experience, prior salary, history, the job duties actually performed, and what a typical person with similar skills, experience, and job duties would earn. Now, therefore, the Board of Directors, that's you all, of UME Preparatory Academy at a lawfully called meeting of the board held in compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act hereby adopts the following resolution. Be it hereby resolved that Kayla Smith is designated as the superintendent of UME Preparatory Academy. We should have probably let off with that, but I have this resolution, and we'll need everyone here on the board that's here to sign this. So, congratulations.
When in doubt, though.
Okay. Well, let's do that then. When in doubt, I don't know the people.
Ginger saying yes.
Ginger saying yes. Okay. Well, do I hear a motion?
I motion.
Thank you. Second that. Everyone in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay, resolution carries, so congratulations, Kate.
Very much.
All right, and then we have, at our last meeting, it was presented that we have,
I think Ginger's going to get signatures after.
Okay, signatures after.
Don't leave without some.
tell you what, I'll start it off. I'll start it off.
Just a quick question on my end, since I'm brand new. I know I wasn't here for that voting.
This is vote for tonight, so
It's vote for tonight, it's good to go here.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so at our last meeting, a name was brought before us for a potential board member. And that is Andrew Wolfskill. And I had the pleasure of meeting him along with mine, and I think some of you already know him. And what I learned is that he will get in our head. He is a psychologist, right? And I've got his resume here. I don't know that everybody else got that, but
everybody got it last month.
Did they? Okay. So what we need to do tonight, though, is Andy has agreed that he would like to be part of our board if we would like to have him. And he's been on boards before. I think he'd be a great addition to our board. So, but anyway, we need to vote him in. that's what you all would like to do, so.
There's the thing about Andy too is, he's the president of an organization for psychiatrists, which isn't easy to manage, so he's a very qualified young man.
Worried about what he might think about us. But.
And Mike laughing over here.
I-
Really gonna make no better.
Did anybody want to see us? I mean, I think we passed this out, but
Yeah.
does anybody want to see his resume?
I'd like a copy of it.
Okay, so that is an action item that we need to act on, so do I hear a motion for Andy Wolf to allow Andy Wolfskill on our board?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Okay. We still have room for one other, and Dr. Connor had given me a name, but I don't have any information about him really. Dr. Connor's not here tonight, so if we put that off, we'll have to wait for the next board meeting to present it, and then our next board meeting in November before, you know.
And can you just present the name of the application? That was the same.
And then vote on it next meeting. Is that what you're saying?
The other thing too is, you can actually get the information and vote the same night. That was just Dr. Essex's approach in the past, to have that extra month. So we do whatever you want to, we get it and send it out to you.
Okay, let's do that.
So some of you may know him, but I'm kind of like Mark, I'm blanking out on the name.
It's Gary something, but I just don't know anything
We
about
can send that
it.
out to you.
So,
Jim, can you ask Colleen to give us that information on that? And then we'll give us some time. Watch for Ginger and Carol.
and while we're putting people in the hot seat, it's my understanding that we need to have a new board orientation. And it's my understanding that you have done that. That you have led
I
that.
have.
Okay.
Have you oriented people?
I have oriented people. Several.
I'm not sure we did that last year. But nonetheless, we need a new board member orientation. And we need to, well.
So everybody
Three
that
men.
has not been through that.
I did have, I'm sure I can find it, a little notebook that I made that just kind of has information in it. It's starting back with Ron Clark, some of his stuff, and the purpose of the board. So, yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
What I've done on the ones that I did to orientation is we find a time we can meet here for just an hour. You will have homework, you know, you have to do a little bit on your own because it's supposed to be how many hours? Just 1 hour or 2 hours or?
I don't know that there's anything that
Okay,
says
but we
that.
just meet barely an hour. But the first year on the board, at the end, or eventually, you have to have 12 hours of training. And I can show you where you get that. It's gonna all be done online. Well, I think you can get almost all of it online. It comes from, mostly Region 10. And, you need to do that. Then second, third, fourth, whatever year you can have 6 hours. But we just go through that and just read that. It doesn't take long.
No. And it's, like I said, it's online, so you can sit there. A good one that's on there's one on the Open Meetings Act. So if you have never been through that, it's a good training for Open Meetings Act.
They're actually very good training. I thought they were excellent training. You get your cup of hot coffee and a big piece of cake and you sit there and watch them.
All right.
Mark, it's very good training.
All right, so can we leave it up to you to
Yes,
get
I'll schedule it.
back with us and tell us when you want to do it?
You know you got that because you did it so well.
Right.
Because
Right.
I used to do it, and everybody said you were so much better.
I heard say you've done it too.
But they said you were a whole lot better.
Oh, they didn't know you just.
I got beat out. Good job. Good job, Tom.
All right. And then our last item of business is, in your packet, each of you should have a, it says here conflict of interest statement. I think it's this code of conduct and ethics. Does everybody have that? Everybody can sign that right now. And, or read through it and then sign it. And,
That's a requirement of the state annually that you have to sign.
Carolyn's going to take it.
They have to sign 3 times.
All right, now we just need to sit here for another 30 minutes. in order to get our agenda, quietly.
My dress is gonna be really impressed.
Okay.
All right, does anybody else have any items of business? Awesome. Okay.
I want to say thank you. This is a great board meeting with good participation. Thank you again. It's great.
Thanks, everybody. Okay, we are adjourned.
And you too, all you principals too.
Yes.
How about that?
Okay, wait.